we do have some important news. We do have actually have an advertiser for the podcast this week. So that's why I guess we're getting a few more hits. The company's called disingenuousness.com, and it's run by a wonderful individual. Basically, he wanted us to read some information for you. So we're going to go down the list because basically he says, I don't know who needs to hear this. Take that chance. Stop thinking about it. You did enough thinking. Just do it. If it don't work out, tell stories about what you tried to others, scared to take a chance or hesitating, and they will pass it on. Some will fucking rock the pillars of reality. Some won't, but we will all be able to say we tried and share those stories. Those are the best stories, and that's how we give momentum to inspiration. And every time we hear someone say, I can't do that, we say, you better.
Better.
You motherfucking can. Disingenuous.com.
Podcast Cosmic.
Welcome, everybody, to the Podcast Cosmic, episode 15. We are back and better than ever. I'm Vlado Cosmic with my fellow co-hosts. Everybody go around the horn.
Got some flamethrower today. Damn it.
The jaded hat.
Arton, the amazing.
Yeah. Welcome, everybody.
Wait,
What?
we want people to absorb this greatness, this cosmic power, this lusciousness of infinitum.
Considering how dark you look like a dying star. But anyway.
Well, anyway, welcome back, everybody. Like and subscribe. Follow us down below. This week, we're going to be talking about Moon Knight episode 5. We only have one more episode left. We will be talking about Ozark season 4, part 2, which is the end of the series. We've all caught up, right, gentlemen? We will talk about CinemaCon and some of the news that came out of CinemaCon. Don't worry about it. We'll spoon feed it to you like a baby dog, you know?
Baby bird.
Baby bird, right? With a fucking dropper. Give him a dropper. We will, unfortunately, remember the late, great Neal Adams. And lastly, we will touch upon Doctor Strange 2, which is coming out this week, and everybody hopefully got their tickets and is ready to go. We do want to hear from Artie, since last week Artie had a journey to actually get his tickets, and we will hear about that. But before we go any further, let's start. Forget it. Let's just jump right in. Moon Knight, episode 5. What do we got to say about it? Who wants to take their turns on this one?
Somebody go. I did last week.
Blah, blah. It's like you passed the ball and everybody freaking dropped it.
Yeah, go ahead, man. So I'll edit this.
I think this might be it. Might have been my favorite episode.
Of course it was, man.
No, I really enjoyed it. There was some things that I had a hard time with, but I liked learning a little bit more about this version of Moon Knight's past. Really finding out this kind of deep thing that Mark had to hide to protect himself, really, from as a child. I mean, there's a lot of emotional stuff and impact, I think, going into this episode or throughout this episode with his brother, with the family, including his father, with his two personalities. You know, coming out of this, does he have a third personality, or is the third personality both of them together? Because really what I got out of it was he was really saving himself from abuse from the mother. And that was really what he was trying to do there. And then you have the stuff with Khonshu, and Khonshu, I think, exploiting that to some degree. And then you have some of the incident between Mark and Layla's father in the archaeological dig, which I think is, if they don't do another season, it would be a shame, because I think that's stuff that they really, really have to cover.
Well, they do mention Bushmaster, right?
Right. That's what I mean. They gotta, to me, that's an important element that just can't be left out there, right? If this guy exists and he's running around the Marvel Cinematic Universe somewhere, to me, it makes only sense that you got to do a second series, even if it's 6 episodes or 4 episodes, just to deal and close that story arc. Because I don't think that's going to get, it ends next episode. My understanding from some of the news I saw online, and maybe I'm just imagining this.
You are imagining it.
Weren't they saying they're not doing a second series? Is that what
Everything is up in the air, and I think it's very similar to what happened with Loki, because we didn't know what was going to happen with Loki, and then at the end of Loki, you get a Loki. There will be a Loki. Loki's coming back. So I have a feeling Moon Knight. If I was a betting man, I'd think that Moon Knight's coming back.
So really, when I first watched the episode, I'm like, what are they doing here? Why are they really doing this? Do we need this background? Do we need a whole episode of him? Of that revelation? I don't know if everybody's seen it, but I'm assuming we're going to be a spoiler. This is going to be anybody watching who hasn't seen the episode, drop out now. I think we're going to talk about spoilers.
They already dropped.
We don't have any viewers anyway. He's blamed for the death of his brother, right? And that takes a toll on the family. I think the woman who plays the mother does a fantastic job. Really, she has 15 minutes of screen time, in the episode, or if that at all.
Right.
And you really feel her emotional baggage because of this. And then you also feel how she's taking it out on him, on Mark. And, Mark is just a kid trying to understand all this. He's being sent to his room. He's being yelled at. He's not being allowed to celebrate his birthdays. The father's trying to be understanding and emotionally hold the family together. But the mother's going deeper and deeper and deeper off the rails. And, finally you get this to me, a really impactful scene. I don't know, Disney Dark,
Yeah, it was. I mean,
see this on Disney, where
this has been the darkest. This is the darkest show on Disney.
See that transition where Mark has to protect himself, protect the boy.
And he creates it out of,
right. And he creates the personality
from the imagination, from what his video.
Hard. Mom, you see him cleaning up. Mom, you see, and she's coming in belt in hand, and she's gonna.
It's actually painful. It really is kind of painful to watch.
It is, but I think after that he disassociates himself from the family, right? But then he comes back, right? Doesn't realize his mom is dead. I mean, all this stuff.
No, he does realize. No. Steven doesn't realize it because
Steven doesn't realize,
right.
And that's a big part too. That to me is no. It's just really great acting.
I mean, Oscar Isaac is killing it. There's no question about it.
And my whole thing is you bunch this into this, I guess 45 to an hour long episode, right? You don't really get much else. You get the little part with the archaeological dig and Khonshu as well, right? But you really don't get anything else about the story. Right? It's really about closing this gap on what happened, what the personalities are, and why. And it was really fantastic in that regard.
My bigger problem with the show in general, it's not a problem. I just feel like you have a lot of story to tell, and you're running out of episodes.
See, I kind of disagree with that because there isn't that much to do.
I don't think
What?
I think George said this before. They just have to stop Harrow. That's really it. Remember this.
Well, Steven. We don't know what's going to happen to Steven.
He doesn't need Steven. The Steven personality took over once he walked away from his mother's Shiva.
Okay.
And that's
it's funny you should bring that up. Again, what I did really enjoy about the episode was sort of, especially for somebody who's read the comics, let's say, is they do mention Bushmaster. They give you sort of a passing origin story of Mark at the archaeological dig. They do touch upon his Jewish heritage, even not overtly, but kind of, as a matter of factly, here it is. This is what's and I like all that stuff. The thing about Jake, let's talk about that for a second. Back to that. It's like, if there really is a Jake, because there's still the question of who was in the third sarcophagus, right?
Well, yeah.
Right. And I don't know and then there's chatter that potentially in the asylum, when he comes out of his hallucinatory states, there's one person who, when he picks up the knife to go attack Harrow, is that Jake? Because he's all bloody.
He's all bloodied, yeah.
He's all bloodied, right? So is that Jake?
So I was discussing this with a friend at work. Shout out to Roger because he listens to the podcast.
Hey, Roger.
And we kind of thinking that the third sarcophagus might be the Moon Knight persona.
That's a good point.
Because like when he's walking through his memories and he sees Moon Knight just like pounding the shit out of that werewolf thing. Basically, that's been his most violent persona.
Right.
So is that Moon Knight? Because it's because is it going to be too late to show Jake? I don't.
I feel that's my question. Or are they going to leave Jake as a dangling like cliffhanger for the next season? Because there is that question: who asked out the girl in the first episode? Right? We had that. We've been. There's that. There's the violent. Who killed the Egyptian dudes? So there's all these questions out there. Like I said, if I was a betting man, I can't believe that they're not going to have a second season or some sort of follow up. I do know that this episode coming up, rumor has it, is only 42 minutes long. It's the shortest episode It's the shortest episode of all the episodes in the 6 weeks, which is I can't believe it's been 6 weeks already. But yeah, that's
another thing I would expect, and maybe I'm completely wrong here.
Yeah.
First of all, that's kind of weirding me out because I'm thinking he's making an hour. I want to see as much as Moon Knight.
Well, that's why I'm saying I just don't feel like they're going to be. They're running out of time.
But the one thing that I haven't seen, I think we may have touched this in another episode, is I would expect to see a fit into the larger Marvel universe.
Like, I don't think we will, to be honest with you.
I don't think we will. It's just he exists.
I don't think it needs. Does it really need some kind of connection to it? I mean, he had the books on Asgard and Wakanda. It doesn't. I don't think it needs to have an overt connection. It's not tying into some greater storyline right now.
Right.
No
I don't know if it really needs something.
Credit scene or anything either.
I don't. Well, there could be. I think there'll probably be. There's. I would be very. I can't believe there won't be some sort of a. There was. You remember Hawkeye even had like a mid-credit scene at the end. So, yeah. I think there'll be something here. I think wasn't there news like sort of chatter a few weeks back that there was a Ramatut reference
on the back of the jacket.
On the back of the jacket.
Yeah.
So that's sort of your Kang reference. I don't know if they're going to give any more. Oh, speaking of which, yeah, just a quick sidebar. You guys, I don't know, it's not CinemaCon news, but you guys heard about the changing of the dates for Ant-Man and Marvels? They flipped it. Ant-Man's coming first, and there's nothing nefarious about it. It's just that Ant-Man's is further down production, meaning it'll be done sooner than Miss Marvel, the Marvels or whatever it's called.
Get these movies out, please. I need more. I need more. I need more. I need more.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Do you understand that, Dr.
You're like Tyrone Biggins. You gonna suck Marvel's dick for some more or what?
Anyway, I really enjoyed this episode. I watched it twice. The first time I was kind of like, did I like this?
Yeah, because you did say it was meandering the first time we talked about it.
Yeah, you did.
And then I watched it again and I was like, all right, I get it. There's really a lot of...
I mean, obviously Harrow, I mean, they are not showing you that Harrow actually found Amit. Right? Because you're seeing it from...
They implied it, though.
Yeah, it's like...
What Thanos did, fucking even scarier when you think about it.
Well, it's like, you just see bodies, like, come dropping down.
There was a lot of fun Easter eggs and callbacks to previous episodes, like the picture of the one finned fish that his brother drew that was framed in the wall. The one thing I thought was funny was in the first episode when Steven was in the museum and he was talking to that little girl. She goes, "Did it suck getting rejected in the field of reeds?" And he goes, "Well, no."
Oh, wow. Wow. That's a great call, George. That's awesome. I didn't even think about that.
So it's kind of funny. Then that's exactly what happens to him.
That was actually pretty powerful. I gotta say, that was watching him like kind of man up and like cricket everybody out off the boat, and then next thing you know, he kind of goes over. That was a big one.
I think something like we're talking about Disney dark and stuff, but like I think the emotional impact of this episode was really, really powerful.
Yeah.
Like you didn't even need to see the mother do anything with the belt. Just seeing it, it was just like, frightening enough, I think. It was, I've been enjoying it. It's basically the Oscar Isaac show.
Yep.
You
It's his tour de force. Keith, any thoughts?
I have to echo everyone. I've been enjoying it. This was a fun episode, like a lot of backstory. Even though it didn't have a lot of action, it just had a lot of. It just felt meaty. It had a lot of stuff to it. A lot of little things here and there, like we had talked about earlier. Has Concha been in his life, since he was young, grooming him for
Right.
the crushed Concha skull, bird
By the
bird,
by the cave, yeah.
yeah. So you're wondering like, there's a connection to that. So good stuff all around. Very enjoyable. It's been an enjoyable series. I just hope that, like you said, knowing that it's a short episode, it's like I just hope that it's going to lead to something else.
I'm worried that stuff is going to get rushed, or it would be nice to know that they're just setting it up for another season. That I think would be really good.
Mm-hmm.
Really, really good.
Again, I don't know what needs to be done. All it needs is for Khonshu to get freed, him to get his powers back, and stop Harrow.
Isn't it only, but remember, like, was in the previous episode where they showed at the beginning that a lot of the gods were being sort of converted?
Yeah, and we don't even know what kind of gods there were in there, whether they're entirely Egyptian. That's another question. Right. Which ties into, the possibility of what else is going on over there.
Mm-hmm.
And do other, mythologies have avatars on this planet, or just the Egyptian gods?
Right.
So, it's and it kind of ties into what's going to be going on with Thor, essentially, because Thor coming in.
Wasn't Thor originally an avatar? Wasn't Donald Blake like his avatar?
Yeah. It actually wouldn't it be kind of cool if all of a sudden Gore shows up at the end of this and takes out all the Egyptian gods?
Or Hercules comes and saves the day, because we need a Greek god in here to do the.
That's why you were away last year for a few weeks, right? You were filming scenes for Marvel.
No, I was. Don't tell anybody.
Were you in a mocap suit?
No,
so they could make you bigger?
Vlad.
He was filming Alpha Flight, Vlad.
Yeah, Vlad, shut up and don't, George. We're not supposed to let that out.
No spoilers.
Kevin Feige's gonna kill you because you broke your NDA.
Seriously, now I broke my NDA. Now they're probably not going to release the movie. And now who else can they get to play Puck?
Are you sure it's not a movie and isn't it a mini series?
That's a mini series. Oh.
It's an animated short.
Not going to put this act on the road. So,
yeah, roll away.
Before we go away from this, I do think that, George, I would like to see them at least do another series of Moon Knight to settle the Bushmaster story.
All right, so let me ask a question here. Does it need to be settled?
I don't think it needs to be settled. I think knowing he's out there, he can come back in the present, and if they want to, they could do.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it needs to be settled anytime soon.
Right.
But to George's point, back to
storyline, definitely not. And then the second thing I was going to say was, out of the whole episode, I thought the weakest part was the part on the boat. Even
you mentioned that you weren't crazy about the boat.
I was like, you have only like 5 dead zombie things jump on the boat to stop them. Millions of people have died and fallen into
that. But the thing is, those are ones that were trying to get Mark because he's the one that put them there. That's why.
Right.
You're not going to have like every fucking person that died going after Mark for no reason. These were more like personal. So.
Then it should have been his mom or something then.
You'd be freaking out, Artie. You'd be freaking out if it was a story about Mark Spector on the toilet for 5 episodes. You'd be like watching it intently.
Hey, as long as the toilet paper was white.
Anything else before we jump off to the next topic?
Oh, no, really great stuff. Again, Marvel's do no wrong.
Looking forward to this week.
Yeah, I am too. I guess we'll switch gears and we'll talk about Ozark. Ozark finished. Most of us binged the shit out of this show over the last few days. Mm-hmm. So the series is over. It went out with a bang, shall we say? Mm-hmm. Anybody want to take a first shot at this?
I was spoiling it.
No, we're spoiling it. Yeah.
I'm curious about how you felt, because I know you were kind of rooting for Ruth to finish the show off
Uh,
as a winner.
yeah, I got to be honest with you. Full spoilers ahead. When she had the dream at the beginning of the episode where she saw all the Langmores, I was like, oh, she's dead.
Hmm.
So, unfortunately, without going way too we'll let everybody else kind of say this. At the end of the day, what I've felt about the show was it wasn't the strongest end of a season, but overall the story, I understand what they're trying to convey, which is basically at the end of the day, you have this you have the birds,
Hmm.
and the birds, anything they touch is corrupted, and it's ruined. I
Hmm.
mean, even to the point of everything that they do. I mean, even obviously Ruth, it's a story of two families, the Langmores and the birds, and the Langmores are trying to come out of this, whatever they're hillbillies, they're criminals, but the birds are just as bad, right?
Hmm.
They're criminals, everything for the good, and at the end of it, evil prevails when you think about it. I mean, you could root for the
100%
birds,
over there. Jonah kills somebody just
and it's basically the worst possible
rationalize
thing.
it. You could rationalize it any way.
Rationalize it whichever way you want. It's basically who was it who says it? Oh God, it's
They're protecting the world from knowing the evil they've done.
and now it's perpetuated onto their children,
Hmm.
right? And Noah's brought into this. But isn't there that one line? Where is it when she goes, what if they become a little? Oh, Ruth says it to the father, the grandfather. What if Charlotte becomes a little Wendy, and Jonah becomes a little Marty,
Party.
right? So and that's what ends up happening.
Hmm.
And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. And you feel bad. Like even the fact, everything that Ruth was trying to do to get out of it,
Hmm.
and then by even bringing Rachel back into it, Rachel is now implicit.
So rushed that it doesn't get a
Mm.
chance to really breathe.
Right. It's broad strokes. Don't get me wrong. It's not bad, but it doesn't feel like it's
No,
baked
but I think
completely.
what happens is they know they have to end it really quickly. What they did is 2 half seasons, which is the fourth season. Which
Right.
really should have been 2 seasons.
It should have been
And
2 seasons. Right.
obviously, they had enough time to breathe
I don't think so.
and grow,
I
and then the final season, even though they brought the sister in, was really about the father and the.
Well, the father was one whole story all unto itself. You're right.
No, but I mean it that to me was the best part of the season.
The father?
Not the
Really?
father, all the things that are going on out of that motel, right? They all have to go back and circle back to deal with it. Whether Jonah's doing it, Noah's dealing with it, whether he's corrupting the children, whether she doesn't know what to do, so she's trying to do everything. She's trying to outright go and blackmail him. She's trying to buy him.
I do have a question for you all. I'm sorry, not to cut you off. So, I do have a theory about the car crash.
Mm.
Okay, because
Oh
that
my
was
God, that was a MacGuffin. I mean, again,
no, it wasn't a MacGuffin, and I'll tell you why it wasn't a MacGuffin. Because it's the moment where where they realize their family's more important than anything else. That they're alive. I took that was
yeah,
at
but
least
I
I'm a
don't know
softie.
why we needed that. Like, to
Why
me,
we needed it is at the end of the day they realize they have to stick together completely. The kids are back in the fold. The kids are back in the fold. Everybody's together because at the end of the day, Ruth is sacrificed. Think about it. Ruth is sacrificed
all it
in
does
such a.
is- yeah, it just shows that they're bulletproof, the family.
They're bulletproof, and then and even in the last episode, when you think about it, the way it's structured, and I'm not saying it's perfect. It's not like this master stroke of everything, but Marty has a goodbye scene with Ruth, which is really it's quietly powerful. And even Wendy's scene with her in the asylum, not the asylum, in the asylum, right, is actually well done because they kind of mutually begrudgingly respect each other at the end of that. So when you're looking at it if you've watched a lot of television, you've watched all this, you realize, all right, yeah, she's probably on her way out. And it was interesting, even like she figured it out that she was going to go because the minute she saw the Escalade, it's like, shouldn't she just turned and run? But she actually said, this is, she knew.
Yeah,
But I'm not saying it's perfect. I think it was,
it's definitely not. I thought it was a lot of like really dumb moments that happened just to create tension, and did it need 2 seasons? I don't think so. I just think the writing for this one season was just helter skelter all over the map, and it didn't settle on one or like a couple of threads. They tried to intertwine like so many branches that it became convoluted. The whole thing with what's her face, Rachel coming back was just like out of the blue.
It was surprising to me. I'm like, oh, she's back. Let's see where this goes.
But then,
right?
her antagonism towards Marty was just weird because he's the one that paid for her to get away and rehab, and she just came back in a shitty out to get him, and that just felt like they just needed that because they needed this to happen and they needed this to happen. So it just felt like they just threw a lot of balls up in the air, and then they just tried to like catch them all in some really weird, improbable way.
Yeah, and the acting was great. Like Julia Garner was great, and she's gonna get another Emmy for that because she.
But it's just like Marty loses the casino, which he knows is the prime thing for money laundering, so he doesn't have controlling interest, so someone can just easily have done that. Was weird. The Shaw lady, flip-flopping between the birds, then to Ruth, and then back to the birds again was just like, again.
I gotta also say
what I meant about it and needing time to breathe, the stuff between Javi and then with the sister, is because it's really the same dynamic. It's just somebody else doing the same thing to the Martys.
But there's others, yeah.
There's always the threat that, she or he is gonna find out what they're doing, and then she or he will kill them. That is the same threat.
So
characters to do that.
So at the end of it, now with the FBI involved, everything is legitimized, right? Theoretically, basically they're protected now. Here's the other stuff that to me felt really half-baked. All the political stuff, with the senators and all that stuff going on about the ballot boxes and all these things, and all of a sudden now they went from having no donors to having donors, and then everything turned around literally within a week's time.
That goes back to what George was saying.
Right, which I felt like where are you going with this? So you're basically saying everything is put into place. Everything is put into place. And then it just felt like, again, I don't know. I just feel like I need a little bit more ruminate.
The other stuff was better to me. The other elements of the story were better to me. Like,
I mean, they could have trimmed it and gotten rid of certain story beats just to kind of focus on other important matters. You could have done a lot with Javi being murdered and gone.
I also felt the Javi murder. Here's the thing: you have a whole episode where she sort of set up tension, and then you think like she has the meeting with the rapper, she sees the chance, and then that whole thing sort of like,
what was that about?
What was that about? So I was thinking, is it about her realizing, was it her realizing that maybe she should flip it? You see, I actually middle of the way through the series, I thought was going to end up happening was Navarro was going to get taken out, or his sister was going to get taken out, Navarro was going to get taken out, and Marty was going to end up working for the FBI, running the cartel down in Mexico. That was what I thought they were going for at one point.
But here's another thing. Now that Navarro's sister, the fact that they were surprised that she did what she did at the end. She tried to kill her brother in prison. Why is like the fact that she kind of double crossed them? They were just like, whoa, where'd that come from? It was just like,
and you knew it was coming from the Shaw woman, because like Helen was completely fucking her over every chance she could get, and of course the Shaw woman was going to pull it out and just do.
A good scene to me. So to me,
but it was rushed. All of a sudden, it's like you're running towards this gala, and then all of a sudden everything just.
No, it is
unravels.
I felt the first and the last episode were really rushed, and everything in between to me was much better.
So here's one question though, and I'll wait. I'll save it towards the end before we go on to the next one. But I have a thought that I want to throw out there. But
I want to ask Keith. Like, now that you asked me, we went off on a tangent for 15 minutes. What was your take?
Was it great? No, I mean, but it was. They wrapped it up all right, but again, like everyone is saying, it felt rushed. It felt like they made things happen that were like just weird. I mean, I guess a lot of it you could call it was emotional. Like Ruth should never have shot Javi, at least not right away. You know, again, it showed her like rush to want to get revenge. Uh, because if she had like waited, like they said, 3 months, they probably could have had things in place where they could have made it easy for her to do it. But by that point, she would have been cooled off. Maybe, I don't know. So it's a lot of stuff but yeah, it was drama. Um, I mean, there were a lot of things that just happened. Like everything happened very quickly and very just kind of like, let's just get to that point. The father stuff. uh, I mean, I guess it was good. I mean,
The
all the
Ruth
stuff that
scene was
happened.
good. Ruth scene, the confrontation scene was good.
Yeah. So I mean, she kind of understood Wendy, like why she was like she was. You're right, Vlad. The scene with her, them connecting about her brother and like how she shouldn't have taken him out. Um, so yeah, I mean, there was a lot of stuff there that was really good. But again, at the end, it just kind of felt like, all right. I mean, again, I don't mind the end so much because that detective the PI was annoying.
Yeah, even though he was good at his job, really good at his job.
He wasn't
I
that
mean,
good
no,
though.
he was good at his job because the story required
Yeah,
it.
because he
Yeah,
wasn't that
yeah.
good. He broke into their house and then was in their backyard. So first of all, the fact that Jonah shoots him, they could get away with that scot free.
Well, of course they will. But
Because
that's the other, there's a couple of loose ends out there. Okay, let's there's the scene where I also knew Ruth was going to die. I thought Ruth was going to die in the second to last episode when Nelson was following her and she goes into the police station and confesses to the cop, right? And I thought now that she's got a clean conscience, she's going to die. I did not expect that. Was pretty riveting, the whole thing with Rachel about like just get the gun, go. That was, but again, it's another thing. Okay, we just took out a character. That's
But
and
the
I
thing was, like, Nelson was kind of, I'm sorry to jump in, but like Nelson was kind of very good at his job, and then he decided to walk in front of a truck with the
with the
headlights
lights on and the headlights. And here's the thing: I was expecting a little bit more character development from Nelson, just a little bit. Like you have that whole flashback with Ben,
yeah,
where Ben's handling it like a man. He's talking to him. He's telling, "Tell Wendy, please, tell her all these things," and nothing comes out. Nelson is completely sort of like that and like stone faced. The last thing I do want to say again, to my original point about how the birds corrupt and use everybody, even fucking Navarro, when you think about it, Navarro still was trusting them all the way up until the end. He gave him, Navarro, you could say he was honorable, whatever, to some extent, about telling his sister. He figured it out. Like he was just as smart as his sister, if not even smarter, about like realizing that she was coming to say goodbye. That's when he realized it. Even like everything falls ass backwards for them. Like Nelson being killed by Ruth telling Rachel to do it. He thinks it's the sister because getting ready for this thing. But even the fact that he gave them the number to the guy so that he could kill his sister, it still is sort of one of those things where you're like, they still, they're playing God. They're making these decisions.
Marty is doing it for his reasons.
Right.
Wendy is doing it for her reasons. But here's what I really enjoyed when I talk about the middle. There were things that I enjoyed that are almost, I don't know, tangential to the main story. Like the stuff with the father's girlfriend, who's like the preacher, and she catches on with the guy who used to work at the club. And
did you care about that?
I thought it was all interesting dialogue. And then you had Wendy multiple times with the father, interesting interactions.
The interactions between them were the same.
No, they weren't the same.
It was always the same. It was her like talking to him, and he's like, "You're a whore."
Because then you have the interaction where she's begging him, right?
That's the Emmy moment. Everybody says that's the Emmy moment.
That was a pretty powerful moment. And then you have her walking up to him at the end with the "fuck you" kind of like statement. To me, that was kind of interesting. And then you have other things that needed a little more time to breathe and understand how that dynamic was helping the overall story.
Right. So before we jump, okay. Were you what were we going to say? Sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, were you going to say something else? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you.
I was going to say, then you have the relationship between the FBI agent and the PI agent, the PI guy, which I thought was kind of interesting, even though they didn't really dwell on it too long. It's like, why have these 2 or 3 scenes that are really like a minute and a half long in there if you're not going to flesh it out?
All right. Go ahead.
Then he leaves, right? He takes the deal that she gives him so she could keep the kids, right? He takes the deal. And then on a lamb, he comes in at the end. And again, this is where George goes, just to have that moment.
Right, but if in defense of him, the last shot of him before you see him again is he's walking out of the motel. He looks over and he sees the cookie jar. So it sets it up again. It's broad. It's not the same thing. And look, I'm going to tell you something, okay? Without giving away any spoilers, you know, when you want to watch something that's actually kind of painting by numbers and putting stuff in. Not Breaking Bad. Better Call Saul just had an episode. It's in its last season right now. Just had an episode last week where there's a major character that is no longer on the show, and the way that character goes out is fucking poetry. And it's a character that you root for. If you're watching Better Call Saul, it's a character you really root for, and it's a tour de force, and it's done in such a way, and the tension is ratcheting up and stuff like this. I'm sorry, as much as I like Ozark does not hold a candle to this stuff.
Of Better Call Saul.
It's Vince Gilligan. It's this. And I'm sorry. It's not. This is the thing. It's what Ozark has is individual incredible performances. You can argue that Laura Linney and Julia Garner are amazing. And Jason Bateman in his own way, and everybody else who's in the show, but really it's Julia Garner and Laura Linney. Because and again, I think I've said it. I've said it that Julia Garner's character Ruth is supposed to be like Jesse Pinkman. To me, was the one you root for, and to some extent also Nacho Vidal on Better Call Saul, which is another character. That you have these people that are in the business that are trying to sort of break good, trying to find a way to get out of this thing, and do better, and something else is dragging them in, you know, and that it's just sad. It wasn't executed the way I expected it to be. I don't think it was a failure, but I don't think it's not.
I think the thing is, like you said, the show got by on the performances and how they're going to get the hell out of this fucking, you know, mess.
Right.
But the thing is, that's basically what the show became, an escalating thing of, oh shit, this got fucked up. How are we going to get out of it?
Yeah.
Oh,
right.
Shit, this fucked up. How, you know, and it just became like
it's kind of a comedy onto itself. It's like, you know, and then
parody to the point where it felt like every episode all of a sudden was just like, this got fucked up. How do we fix that? This got fucked up.
He's bored. He's showing us.
He's right. I think he's exactly right.
What's this thing? What's
No,
it's like two velociraptors kissing. What the fuck?
He wants to talk about the touching moment between the bellboy and Killer Mike when he bought the coffee in that shop.
No, but George,
That was a touching moment. It was really powerfully done, and it needed more time. It just got to the point where, you know, it was exhausting, and you know, it was like she decides to go into a mental institution 2 days before this gala that she's been, you know, hoping.
Yeah, that would have been news. And it didn't get on the news about her getting arrested either.
I mean,
yeah. Hey, Artie, I was going to ask you, did it hit a nerve when Marty and Wendy went into road rage and beat the shit out of that guy?
No, I was exactly on him. All I thought is, if you touch my wife, it's on. It's death. It's to the death at that point.
I mean, that's the thing, though. The guy deserved it. I don't understand why they got arrested.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. So I had a question that I wanted to ask before we move on.
Sure.
Would we have felt differently about this season if it was done weekly? If the episodes were dropped every week as opposed to...
I don't know, George.
I don't think so, George, because I'll be honest with you. It wasn't executed properly. And this is where I'm going to go to about like Moon Knight again, right? Moon Knight is a weekly thing, and you know, the time is ticking by, and you're like, wait a second. Now I'm waiting for a week and we only have one episode left. Are you sure you can get everything done? And again, it all comes back to writing for me. And I just feel like the writing was rushed. I think I don't know if I believe it would have been different if it was a weekly thing. I think
you would have enjoyed it differently if it was.
Yeah.
No.
I might have, I think, George, because I think having the episodes not run into, like, I literally watched them back to back.
Yeah, I did it all Friday. I was literally like
And
glued.
especially how I didn't like the first episode and the last episode. But if I had time to think in between the episodes, right, and go, okay, this all happened this episode. Let me think about it. And then next,
I think that
might have been different.
Kind of helps the show be like, oh, it was okay. If we had to watch it every week, I think every week it would have been a nitpicky shit to the point where when we got to the finale, we would have been just done. I think it being binged kind of allows it to get by.
Yeah.
In terms of people's reaction to it. But I think if it was released like every week, like a Moon Knight or something, or Boba Fett, you would just have time to like.
Or Severance. Severance is another one that I think, to me, Severance built its tension over weeks. This one, look,
I just think that you would have just ripped it apart.
You see, all the meaty stuff, really, when you think about it, like for me, the really emotional stuff and the stuff that ratcheted up happened in the last episode. You know, the car crash. I remember starting to feel uncomfortable when I saw them in the car coming back. I was like, where's this going? And I was looking at the time, and there was probably still another 30 minutes, 40 minutes. I'm like, okay, so somebody makes it out of this, right? Because obviously there's so much time. And then the gala, you know, these things happen. And I felt, okay. Other than that, I'm trying to think about how many moments there were. A lot of it was meandering for me. I think somebody mentioned it, maybe not live, but mentioned the whole thing about the Chicago mob. You know, the whole relationship that Ruth had with the son, who she took care of. You know, that's all. You know, that's, where does that go? You know.
And you know, like at the end of this, what is it? Is it just going to be the same thing going on again? Where they?
I think it is. I think that's the whole point of the thing. It's they've corrupted things so badly.
Oh, hey! First of all, they're not so corrupt that they will throw an election.
Yeah,
they have their principles. Come on,
for real.
Well, no, they didn't need
Democrats
to throw. No, they didn't need.
But
help.
Maybe correct me if I'm wrong. But the deal was that they're out of the drug business now, right?
No,
not really.
No,
they have to make sure things are happening.
They're still considering the money. Yeah, they still have to do the money.
They're doing the money laundering thing.
They still have to do it, right?
Yeah.
I thought, but they're going to be able to be more kingmakers now and do all that stuff.
Basically, what they were doing at the end is what they're going to be doing, but
now they could do it from Chicago.
The thing is, there's no resolution. It just becomes like, is it going?
It's ongoing. But now they have the protection of the FBI.
Now Rachel's going to turn into Ruth, and then she's going to get shot in some fucking
right. The fact that, and again, it's back to my point that everybody in their orbit ends up getting corrupted even further, and just, you know,
well, not Maya. Maya kind of stayed out of it.
Maya? Which one was Maya again? I'm sorry.
The FBI agent.
Well, she loses her boyfriend or whatever. There's two ways to look at it, you know.
Her career's fucked up.
Her career's fucked up because of this.
Well, no, her career was fucked up because she was too righteous.
She was too righteous, but she was also righteous because she was in with the birds. You know, she was working with the birds. Right. So basically, anybody who comes into the orbit of the birds is going to get fucked. There's that great scene when Marty's talking to his daughter and kind of unleashes on her about Wendy.
Yeah.
And then the daughter goes, well, you can go back to the marriage therapist. Yeah, and there's that moment where he pauses.
That was good.
That was good. That was really good. That was really, really good because he's like, well, that was a good one.
Wasn't there, like, in the beginning, there was like a deal for them to get new, what do you call it, aliases, right? And get out of it.
Right.
And Wendy wouldn't take it.
No, because she wanted to be
So I guess the biggest question is, do Marty and Wendy stay together?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, because they need each other. She needs him. And
right. And then there's that whole issue of, like, you don't realize that, I think, to Artie's point, and very well said, Artie, about the whole father situation, you realize how fucked up the father made Wendy. You know, like, either you love me or you hate me, you know, whatever it is, you know, that whole making her the way, you know, her father, you know, the influence of her father, or the neglect of her father, the abuse of her father, and what this created in her, and what Marty is, trying not to do in so many ways. I mean, there are layers there. It just feels like,
Yeah.
do I really want to be an apologist about it and say, oh yeah, well there's this and there's that?
I enjoyed
But
it.
you have to go. You have to shift through tectonic plates of plot to find it. It's
I enjoyed it.
I did too. Don't get me.
This season though, it didn't live up to expectation, which is a little sad and disappointing, and it knocked it down a peg for me. I was really.
It's not one of the best. It's not one of the best endings. It is kind of a well, fuck you. This is the way we're gonna end it type of ending. Like, whoa.
I'm okay
But
now. I'm ready to let it go and go on to the next.
Yeah, that's the way I feel about it.
It was this one of the best TV series of all time. It doesn't even rank in the top 10.
No, but it's a solid show. It's a solid show.
What it was, but like for me, it doesn't have. Does it rank there with Breaking Bad? No.
Oh.
Does it rank up there with Sopranos or Deadwood? No.
Game of Thrones.
I don't know, but it shows what I did like about it. Even
Or The
like
Wire.
they do kind of win at the end in
Yeah.
a sense.
Right. That's
and-
sort of it.
And I forgot. I thought there was a little bit of dialogue at the end with the PI, and he's like, why? What makes you guys think you can win? And the good guy, the bad people don't win. And they're like, since when? And he was like, oh, you want to be like the Koch brothers, or you want to be like this?
They are.
And they are.
They are.
that's- and what
Exactly. They are.
And what they do and what they've done is probably what a lot of these kind of people up in that.
When you have that type of power corrupts, and you're able to do all these things, and you have the money.
It's better than Outer Range.
With
That's-
white people.
Well, yeah, I mean,
So let's switch gears because we got a lot more stuff to talk about. So CinemaCon was this last week.
What's that?
So Artie, yeah. So look it up, Artie. Basically, it's the exhibitions of all the new movies that are going to be coming out. So we had a lot of news came out. Obviously, the DC stuff came out. There was
Morbius 2.
what?
Morbius 2, right?
No Morbius 2. Venom 3, close. Venom 3.
Muerto.
El Muerto with Bad Bunny. Woo! Boy, that's a big one. DC made their announcements. Obviously, Batman 2, Pattinson and Reeves and Zoe Kravitz will be back. That's a big one. No surprise there.
Big one?
What?
That's a big one?
Yeah, it's a big one. I'm saving the best though. I'm saving the best one for you.
Very interesting that you brought. Let's talk about Batman 2 for a second. And obviously, taking my feelings about it aside, Batman.
That
Good
you
movie, solid movie.
You gave it 7.5.
I'm seeing a lot more people online, who are seeing it now that it's free on HBO.
Uh-huh.
Going, I expected this to be better.
And I'm hearing the opposite.
I've seen this movie,
And I'm hearing the opposite. I'm hearing people loving it.
yeah, those-
I have somebody texting me today saying it's fucking extraordinary.
Oh.
Speaking of which, Avatar 2.
oh yeah,
Why, dude? Fuck that.
I can't wait, man.
Vlad, didn't you like Avatar?
Fell asleep first time I saw it.
You fall asleep almost every time.
I fell asleep with 3D glasses on. It's fucking Dances with Wolves with blue people. Fuck
Yep.
that shit. I mean, does anybody care about Avatar other than Keith?
It's not a memorable movie to me.
No.
The funny thing about it is it's.
I mean,
Here's the thing. There was an article.
like you come up with an idea of like unobtainium. It's just fucking genius.
Here's the thing.
Oh, it's
There
so
was a
bad.
movie. There's an article last week talking about Avatar is like the third biggest or fourth biggest movie of all time or whatever it is. It's made so much money worldwide that it's got no cultural influence whatsoever. Star Wars obviously is ubiquitous. Marvel is the new Star Wars. And even Harry Potter, all these, but Avatar, nothing. Avatar was all about, and I'm paraphrasing the article right now. It's basically the experience of going to see this in 3D because it was one of the first. And
It's
3D
a
is
technical
going.
achievement.
It's a big fucking deal. It doesn't matter. Is it enjoy? Is it
Flashlight is a
Pixar
technical
movie.
achievement.
That's all it was.
right?
No, it was like a showcase for the new tech that he was having,
It
3D
wasn't.
cameras and
It wasn't
everything.
great looking. It was just.
It was
I'm like,
nice.
when I play Elden Ring, I feel like I'm in Avatar land or whatever. It's just
I think the movie's coming out 10 years too late, and
there were
who
people
gives a
actually
fuck?
wanted to move
Yeah,
to
I
Google,
think that's the
right?
problem with it.
That's the big problem with it.
Right.
Like,
And it's
No,
not only
Worthington-
one. He's doing how many of these
Steve
movies?
Worthington again, who's a fucking charismatic black hole. You're bringing back the villain who died in the first one. He's
Oh, they're
coming
bringing
back.
back. They're bringing back. What's his name? Yeah. Okay.
What's his
Great.
name? I forgot his name.
Uh,
Anyway,
he was Ike Clanton in Tombstone. I forgot his name.
But we're
he
gonna
was
see
also in
Catwoman
Conan
and
the
Batman
Barbarian
again?
with Jason Momoa, and at the Comic-Con he knocked out my brother. So there's
Yeah.
that's
He knocked out your brother.
he walked into Jimmy and like just shouldered him and kept walking by like he didn't like Jimmy was nobody.
Who is this? Jason Momoa or
No, what's the guy, the villain? What was his name?
Qualtrics or whatever his
I
name
like
is?
him though. He plays in.
He's in
other
Don't
movies.
Breathe. He was in Don't Breathe. He was.
He's in a bunch of things. What's his name? Vlad, look it up.
I'm looking it up.
Yeah, Vlad, come on. You're really slow with this stuff.
Is it Stephen Lang?
Stephen Lang.
Stephen
Stephen
Lang.
Lang. Stephen Lang.
Yeah, I. So what other news? That to me, nothing exciting.
No. Okay. The
clip.
What?
Black Adam clip.
Black Adam clip, Flash. They had Michael Keaton as Batman.
Yeah.
You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts.
Are they releasing the Ezra Miller Flash?
Yes.
They jumped that.
Next
No, they
year.
will. No, they will. They will.
They're gonna see Elliot Page as the Flash, though.
They're gonna reshoot all the Flash scenes.
Ghostbusters. There's going to be a second one.
We might have
Aquaman footage.
There should be a Ghostbusters multiverse. We need more Ghostbusters movies. That's exactly what we need. 1,000 Ghostbusters movies. I mean, somebody will die and they'll just put him in the movie and everybody's be like, oh.
Maybe they'll make another Dungeons and Dragons movie. Oops, they are.
There's no reason to have a Ghostbusters movie.
Why? You made
The
money.
fucking first movie was fucking perfect. The second movie was That's all you needed. You didn't need to go revisit that well. You didn't need to go down and drink any more water. You didn't need to see or have any closure. You didn't need anything. It's a movie from its time. It needs to be there in our nostalgia, and we fucking loved it. What we don't need is a new generation of fucking Ghostbusters. All right? Who get the spirits of the fathers whenever shit goes south for them, to get the spirits of the original guys to ride up in the Ecto 1. Because now they got the Ecto 2. They're going to make a better Ecto, and they'll release some toys and a fucking Lego set. Fuck that. It's just stupid.
How do you really feel?
Aquaman 2 footage.
Aquaman 2 footage.
I just can't imagine people going, you know what? We need
Halloween Ends. They had a Halloween Ends trailer. I'm not listening to the old man yell because
At the
we'll hear
cloud.
about that one.
Old.
So, and the thing was funny was like, I think in the Black Adam teaser thing, there was like some blowback on it because it's like Hawkman and Black Adam, and Hawkman goes, "Heroes don't kill," and then Black Adam goes, "I do." And then people are like, well, if that's the case, every DC hero has killed everybody, so that line doesn't mean shit. So,
And there's no accountability. I mean, then they don't even get me started.
and the Aquaman footage doesn't sound interesting. A robot octopus.
I haven't read
Who's the
anything
villain?
about
Is it Black Manta?
Black Manta's in it, but I think
Yeah.
there's another villain, right?
Mm,
Look, I don't want to say it. I don't want to sound like a grumpy old man.
But you
Right.
will.
You're gonna-
I'm
you
the
will.
most open-minded of us at all times.
No, you're not.
All times.
no.
No, you're not.
The DCEU is just a fucking garbage pit. It's a garbage pit.
We lost all 2 of our Snyderverse fans.
Oh, go there with the Snyderverse. That's-
Thank God for that.
Oh, he's got tattoos. He's a great director.
What the fuck? You have tattoos. What the hell does that have anything to do with it?
That's Vlad. Nobody knows that. Nobody cares. Anyway, listen. So you got Black Adam coming out, and I really want to like it.
Can you put hand down? It's really disconcerting.
I really want to enjoy it, but I'm finding I'm not going to be able to because of stupid shit like that whole line that George that dialogue.
Mhm.
Like, so he kills people, bullets bounce off him, and they kill people because he's standing close and he doesn't care. And you know what? The rest of the DCEU superheroes go, oh, that's okay. What, he's just flying around killing people and throwing helicopters to the ground?
Superman
Like
killed
that.
people. Superman killed Zod. Oh, that's the other thing. Zod's going to be back apparently in Flash, right? That's what I heard. Michael Shannon's back.
Going through the
Oh yeah, because it's the DCE
Multiverse.
Oh, so they're coming to the multiverse a year after Marvel. Way to go, guys.
Well, they did the right thing. They did the right thing on the TV front. They canceled Batwoman and Legends of Tomorrow.
I think it's
Wait,
really
there was
good.
Batwoman was still on the air.
Yeah, they canceled it after. Unfortunately, they canceled like Legends of Tomorrow after 7 seasons on a cliffhanger, and Batwoman after 3 seasons.
It's like they can do so much.
I'm sorry I interrupted you.
No, it's just now I'm just gonna go off on a tangent. It's like
Another
Ezra Miller
one?
is just an embarrassment. I know he's young and troubled or whatever. He's got a lot of issues. You know, he's beating up 80-year-old women with chairs. You know,
They're young.
really nice guy.
They are young.
Do you think maybe? Can I ask you a question, Artie? Do you think one of those women potentially may have passed him on the street and had a cigarette in her hand and burned him inadvertently?
Past them.
I've never
Past them.
argued
Sorry,
with
past them.
No,
Past them.
listen, Vlad. First of all, we don't want to get into that whole discussion because that's really your fault.
It's not my fault.
And George's fault vis-a-vis being there.
Yeah, enablers.
But you see, he made a face
Enablers.
like
There's only
that.
one enabler here, and it's Keith. We're not the enablers.
No, but George, do you see that fucking face he made? That's the same face he probably made when I was walking over there to get in an altercation with.
Do you
someone.
know what the face I made was? What the
What?
fuck is he? Where the fuck is
No,
he
anyway,
going?
I don't want to go into that. I don't need people to hear things I'm embarrassed about. all right?
Disingenuousness.com. Disingenuous.com.
So, you got this Black Adam movie coming out.
This Black Adam.
He's neither a hero or a villain. Like he was meant. Never
Can't you just say anti-hero? Can't you edit yourself?
No, I cannot. Because he's not an anti-hero. That's not what Black Adam is.
He's a villain.
He's a king, right? And he's a villain. He should just be showing up and.
Wait. He's not a villain. He's a villain
No,
and a king.
no, he is a villain. He's 100% a villain. He shows up, and everybody's supposed to be like, oh shit, Black Adam's showing up because it's just like Superman fighting fucking Shazam. You have a guy with all this fucking power, and you got to use him in spurts. You don't go, you know what? We need to do The Rock. Kind of looks like him, I guess, or whatever. Now they're going to graft the whole movie around him. Introduce characters like Doctor Strange.
Not Doctor Strange. Doctor Fate.
Dr. Fate. I'm sorry. I'm so excited to go to the movies on Thursday. I mixed them up.
Hey. Calm down for a second. Why don't you tell us about your experience about getting your ticket?
We're done with Comic-Con or whatever?
Yeah, I'm done because I can't listen to this anymore.
Yeah, you're a big fan of the DCU. You know,
No, because I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of keeping my ears. I can't hear. You're yelling too much. And I think if I'm trying to channel your ranting energy into something that's going to be constructive, like our listener hearing about you buying your tickets for Doctor Strange.
Yeah, I did it. Well, Vlad, you got me thinking. So you guys really.
Can you just answer the fucking question instead of going off on some goddamn retarded tangent?
No, I wanted to talk about this. It's very important.
No, answer what he asked you. That's it.
Jesus Christ, George, you're so belligerent with me. All I did was
You can't do one simple task.
What I did.
Stay on target.
You're the final season of Ozark. You're all over the fucking place.
Stay on target.
I ordered tickets online.
Okay, can I ask you a question? How long did it take you to order the tickets?
It took me a while. I went to one site and I almost pressed the button, but it was to a movie theater in Miami. So I didn't. Luckily, I figured that out. I went back, found the local theater, picked my tickets. But I'm a little nervous about going to the theater on Thursday and something screwing up when I give them I show up with when I show up and I do this and then he does this and then it doesn't scan right. And then all of a sudden I got to have an argument with a fucking 15-year-old.
You can print out the ticket too, I think, with the code on it.
You could print out the ticket.
I'm not doing that. It's not the code. It's what's going to happen between my reality and their reality in the internet. And them telling me something like, well, you only bought one ticket or it's for a later time.
Do you know that Mephisto has released Gremlins specifically for you to fuck with all of your technology?
Can I ask you a question? Where you bought the ticket, what's the date and the time on it?
Well, I double checked everything. I made sure.
Are you sure?
Are you sure?
For the location, 3:30. I'm going to be there.
What's the date?
My seats. I'm in a
Is it for 2024?
Huh?
2024?
No. I made sure of all that. I made sure of everything. It's not me, George. It's never me. It's never me. I'm telling you, there's going to be a story coming out of this. Watch.
Oh man.
If I get arrested,
Why would you get arrested?
If I get arrested.
Well, if they don't let me in,
You know what's going to be?
I'll-
Wait. You mentioned something about you're having dinner while watching it. What's going on? What are you
Yeah,
doing?
I'm going to one of those theaters where you get to sit down and
Like the
enjoy
Alamo?
yourself and order
Oh my
food.
god, that's
Do
gonna
they
be
give
good.
you a happy ending at the end of it too? What?
I'll be with my wife.
The way you would drink and eat, God, no one's gonna hear the fucking movie.
Wait, are you like in like a private booth?
No, they have yeah, it's like that. It's like
And he
little-
puts 25 cents and the screen comes.
Hey, listen. I got to enjoy myself with Heather Hunter.
Okay, wait. So you're gonna be sitting there like going like, wait,
We were
you
talking
gotta
about
be
black
careful because if you're gonna eat, you don't want to choke on something because you get so excited during the movie. Ah!
So I'm
Yeah.
super excited. Listen. This movie is going to be so amazing.
What, Black Adam?
My head is going to explode. This is going to be the best.
Aquaman 2?
Aquaman too.
So,
The Flash 2?
Shazam! Fury of the Gods. Madam Web. That's what you're excited about, right?
who's in-
Muerto?
El Muerto.
El Muerto. Look, you guys are just listen. I like good stuff. You guys are all over the place with the crap you guys like. Batman was the greatest movie. You know, Dread was fucking a tour de force of fucking Carl Urban's, you know, ability to portray the character as it truly existed in the fucking.
You're just one head nod away from a Tourette's reaction. You know that? Look at you.
Just one? Yeah,
Oh, that's what we were talking about?
What?
Are you done? Are you done? So what, do you know what you're going to order there? Or are you going to be checking the menu while the movie's on?
Probably a burger and fries.
Wait,
I
so
thought-
like as you're watching the
What
movie,
does Dr. Strange say?
No, when we go in, you order at the thing, and then they bring it to you.
how much is this ticket, if I may ask?
$5. Cheap.
The ticket is $5?
No,
Bullshit.
23.
23, and then there's dinner.
5.
Yeah.
Why did you say $5? Because you're disingenuous.com, everyone. Professional bullshitters.
What do you care how much it is?
I'm curious because it's a place that you.
theaters like that in New York. Don't
Yeah,
you?
but I don't go to them, motherfucker.
Why not?
Because it's too damn expensive, and I don't want to eat that shit there anyway.
Why?
No offense,
Could
why do you want to
only
eat?
What?
I hate people that eat in a fucking movie theater.
I've been hanging out with you since the fucking 80s. We've been to every shitty corner diner and stuff.
Are we watching a movie when we're at the corner fucking diner?
No, but you eat all sorts of shit. You eat jujubes.
But I don't want to go and have dinner and watch the movie over there. If I want to do that, I'll do it at home. Why would I want to do it in a movie theater?
You can't watch it at home. They're not releasing same day.
So you gotta go eat too? You gotta fucking what are you, a fucking cow? They have to feed you? What are you, a veal? They're gonna put you in a box so they can massage you while you want.
I'd
What the
rather sit
fuck?
in my own little fucking comfortable booth than with some fucking.
It's not a comfortable booth, dude. What do you also have a fucking bucket so you can shit in it while you're
If I had a piss boy, it'd be great. Piss boy.
dude, why can't you just go to a movie?
Seat in the toilet seat, Vlad.
Look, a
Come on.
recliner. I would be happy if you got a recliner.
It's gonna be crowded. I don't want to sit with other people.
So you're gonna be eating with other people in a
No,
movie.
but they're in a
watching
booth. You're in a
fucking Doctor
booth.
Strange.
man.
What are you in a fucking enclosed area?
Yeah, it's like this.
It's a bubble.
What do you mean? Is it a bubble? Is it a door on it?
A picture for your ass. You guys
So
ever
here's the
been
thing.
to a theater?
I don't understand what this is. Look, sound. Now I don't know what the fuck you're at. Is it like a 2-person seat,
Yes.
and you're just watching the movie
It's a booth.
personally on this
Probably
little
just 4
screen?
people in it.
No, it's still in a big
So it's like
theater.
a box? It's a box.
It's like a booth. It's like a diner.
I'll send you a picture.
Do you have plexiglass around yourself? What are you, the fucking Pope?
I might as well be. I'm the Pope of this fucking podcast.
No, you're not. No, you're not. Let's the fact that you're actually freaking out about this to buy the ticket, and not only that, you end up freaking out. You end up going like fucking first class, like to Dubai Air, and you got one of these fucking like first class,
It's
dude.
just one of those theaters. Paradise 24, baby.
Oh, so it's a happy ending place.
It's a massage therapy.
I don't want to get.
I'm here for the multiverse of madness.
Take some pictures. Take some pictures.
Take some pictures.
He's gonna
take pictures. It's gonna bounce off the glass. People are gonna get pissed because it's all of a sudden like the lights flashing off the thing.
He's gonna be doing that during the movie. He's gonna be pulling the movie. with his
Not during the
watch
movie.
on, and then he's gonna get thrown out. It's gonna live stream.
No,
and
but
then
I'm
footage of the
super excited
podcast.
about the movie. I mean,
Are you? I don't think you are.
I can't wait. I can't wait.
I don't
I
think
can't wait
so.
to talk about it. Are you all seeing it Thursday?
No, I'm seeing it Saturday. Keith, when are
Saturday.
you? Saturday? Yeah.
So I can't talk to you guys about it?
Nope.
You guys
Well,
are
I'm seeing it
now you're
Thursday.
taking a fucking page from George's pain in the ass book.
You talk.
Well, not all of us. Not all of us. I got plans on Thursday. I can't. Friday, I'm working, and then I'm gonna go. If I can't see it after work Friday night, I'll go see it after work Friday night. But chances are I'm going to see it in a matinee Saturday morning.
That's what I'm going to do. 11 o'clock.
I'm going to do a 10 o'clock show Saturday morning. I'm taking my daughter, so that's what I'm going to do.
Nice.
Well, yeah, not all of us are going to fucking go like to the fucking the Grand Prospect Hall. We're not going to the Grand Prospect Hall where they make your dreams come true. So while you watch a movie and they serve you some fucking year-old lamb chops, I don't what?
But we can't talk about it for 3 days.
So what? So we can't talk about it. Go do something. I'll ignore you for 48 hours. It's not what?
I talk to you guys every fucking night.
So I'm not going to talk to you about this.
So what are we conspicuously going to ignore fucking Multiverse of Madness?
Yes.
Yes.
We'd like to talk about.
Dude, how many I've been sitting here having personal conversations with you on the side about it so that George and Keith are not spoiled, right? Look at you. You're getting upset about it. So this is you're going to go in.
Understand you guys.
What don't you understand? I want to enjoy it. I don't want to hear if there's something that I missed, I don't want to know about it.
There's nothing to miss. It's a movie.
Then don't go see it.
I'm going to see it.
Go see it on Saturday then, so you can talk about it on Saturday.
The whole goal is to see it. I want to. If I could see it,
we're gonna have the
podcast on Saturday. That was the plan. We discussed this. We're having it on Saturday so we can talk about the podcast. We can talk about it during the podcast, so all of us have seen it.
I gotta go.
You can go jump and play Crucible for 48 hours. You'll be fine.
You know me. I don't do that.
What? Did you miss something? All of a sudden. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to switch over to our last topic, which is unfortunately a little bit of a sobering topic, which, again, I'm going to give it over to my comic book buddies to talk about, which is the late, great Neal Adams, who passed away a few days ago.
Go ahead, Keith. You haven't said any much of the whole thing.
Well, I mean, it's sad, of course. 80 years old, he seems a little young. He had a great body of work. I mean, he wasn't one of my personal favorites, but I did respect what he did. The tremendous work he did for the community, for the artists. Fantastic stuff. So yeah, it's the comic world lost a big one. It's a shame.
Yeah, he definitely was one of my favorite artists growing up. You know, it was Jack Kirby, had Neal Adams and Ross Andrew, like huge influences when I was growing up. So, you know, like that run with the X-Men, his Batman work, you know, and again, what he did for creators' rights, you know, fighting for Jack Kirby to get his original pages back, and, you know, things that some comic book artists take for granted now, he kind of fought for, you know, and he brought a lot of, you know, amazing Filipino artists over and made sure that they weren't shortchanged in pay rates and stuff like that. So, you know, you have what he did for, you know, his comic work, and then what he did outside of it, you know, huge influence throughout.
Very much so.
Anything to add, Artie?
No, I think he said it all. And again, 80 is too young. He had a prolific career, inspired a lot of other artists from my generation. You know, he's really from the generation, I think, before us, really, but he really inspired and kicked off a lot of the creators that, you know, Keith, myself, and George followed, and George really loved him quite a bit. He brought a dynamism to the comic page that didn't exist before he did it. I mean, talk about these kind of super like perspective drawings, these incredible panels. You know, he really brought a modernity to it, you know, coming out of the 60s into the early 70s, you know, that was a paradigm shift in how people drew comics. And, you know, a lot of the books he was on became vitally important for various reasons for that period, right? He reimagined the X-Men. He did incredible work at DC between Batman and Green Lantern.
Hmm.
You know, he had his continuity comics. He did the Muhammad Ali versus Superman. I mean, you could just go on the influence that he had on the industry. And
When did he retire?
I mean, he was still drawing. I think he was doing a Batman Odyssey that he was working on with DC. He did a few issues here and there. And you know, the last Comic-Con we did, he was a fixture there. Remember, like his booth and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and people
And
coming
he's
to
still
see him.
drawing up until he got sick, and then you know he would do like a weekly thing on Facebook Live where he was doing sketches and stuff. And
But regular comic work, like regular runs and stuff like that, how long has it been?
Oh, quite a bit. But he's still been in the industry.
He was
know,
a big
doing
advertiser.
series
Big,
and stuff like that.
he was big in advertising too.
Yeah,
There was that as well.
it's Vlad, that you bring that up is there's a lot of artists now and creators, you know, writers from the early 70s now who are really of that age that they don't do comics. A new generation of comics fan and creator may not even know who these people are anymore.
Right.
You know, we're basically maybe 5 or 6 years away from people not knowing, I hate to say it, Simonson, John Byrne, you know, people
George
from
Perez, George Perez,
you know, Frank Miller, you know, not understanding those people's influence during the late 70s, early 80s,
Mhm.
right? Out of the Bronze Age, now coming out of the Bronze Age. Now you're dealing with people who don't even know who are that modern era of comics to us, who those people
like the classic rock artists considered now to be like Jim Lee and Liefeld type of. Is that what we're going
Yeah, that's
towards?
what we're looking at. People that started, they're basically born in that generation.
McFarlane, yeah, that type of thing,
So
right?
the shift comes from, you know, not storytelling, but you know,
Dynamic art, exciting,
Yeah.
exciting splash page art.
But I do think there was you know, that's a little bit, that's maybe, so the image guys, and again, I know we're not talking about Neal Adams anymore, just kind of put some more information in there. It can't be overstated, his influence during that period,
Mhm.
and then on every artist afterwards.
Right.
And I understand why all these greats, like legends now, are having such great things to say about him, and they always would have. I mean, it's just that he was as important to that, and vis-a-vis our favorites through him, a generation removed, they loved him. They're the reason they draw comics,
It was the influence, yeah.
you know?
yeah, I mean, you hear the stories about like, you know, his portfolio reviews and how he was
It was
critical.
brutal.
He was. Oh yeah, I mean, but the thing was, if you took what he said and came back and you showed improvement, he would call somebody at DC or Marvel to try and get you a job.
Mhm.
So, you know, the criticism was kind of constructive in a sense.
Mhm.
So, you know, you can imagine how many artists he touched through that, and you know where they grew from. You know what he told them and the feedback they got.
Yeah,
You
the
can't
kids, the
understate
people
that.
that came back from his critiques, if they actually came back stronger, that was because he was as hard
If
as
they
he
weren't
was.
broken.
Well, and no, and the thing about it is the people that he broke probably should not have been in the business anyway.
I agree. I'll say one other thing about him. I'm sorry to kind of now go on. Now I know I said I wasn't going to say much, but George is right. What he did for creators also can't be understated or overstated. The balls he had to come out in front of stuff like that doesn't exist anymore. Doesn't
Very rare.
exist. That doesn't exist. I know everybody's doing self-publishing, and there's a lot more areas for people to create and own their own stuff. And you know, the image creators created new venues, you know, their own paradigm for ownership of their IPs. But for artists doing the job every day, he fucking put his reputation, his career on the line with these companies to advocate for the artist. And I really wish, it's something that I struggle with in terms of my criticism when I criticize about comics a lot, and you guys see what I post and I run my mouth like crazy. But it really is, we got to stand up and fight artists to get better pay if they're working for the big two or big company where they're doing work for hire, have some sort of ownership stake in the characters. We all understand, oh, you got hired for that rate. We understand that paradigm too. But It's really, yeah, you can't thank him enough. I mean, just for that alone, you just gotta fucking just take your hat off to him.
Can you imagine if he saw that JLA, the Death of JLA book?
Shut up, George.
His thing would
We're
be-
not going down that road.
Hey.
I want to try to keep
And,
this.
and I'm the enabler, huh?
Hey,
Just-
hey,
I'm not enabling. I'm just
going off on a different topic real quick. I did a review. It's on our
Something different
Facebook
than what I
page.
Please, God, no! Please don't go down this. I'm trying to keep this
No, I'm
under
not going to
control.
talk about it, but I did a review on our Facebook page of the new.
I'm just no. What I'm just saying is like you can imagine, like how critical, like how he appreciated good art in terms of.
Oh, yeah.
So looking at something like that, you can imagine what his criticism would have been. So just all I was saying.
Yeah, so he'll be missed. I mean, but I think we're at that place in time, guys, where the people we loved as kids, who we're nostalgic for, the reason we collect or we draw, or we love comics or we love these characters, they're of an age now.
Yep.
And
Well, that's not just that. It's a lot of other things as well. I'm not to switch subjects, but music is the same. Where you just see like there's discussions about like the huge rock bands that are out there right now. Who's the next big stadium filling rock band? Who's it going to be after the current flock of people retire? And it's sad because there really are no more superstars for that. I mean, and I'm talking about rock. I'm not talking about all other genres of music.
Bad Bunny,
Yeah.
Alberto.
El Muerte. No,
But
you're good,
I
lad.
think
That's
and
the-
it's part of our generation that this is what happens, and it's unfortunate, but it's the truth. It's part of life.
Oh, big CinemaCon news just dropped.
What just
Sony's
dropped?
going to be doing a Stiltman movie.
Who is?
Sony's doing Stiltman.
Stiltman, the Owl, Hypno Hustler.
Prowler.
Oh, we do have one last CinemaCon news that came out, which was that John Watt is no longer doing FF. But that's not anything nefarious. Apparently, he is going to do. They're expecting him to be back for Spider-Man 4 whenever that comes out. Okay.
I'd rather he work on Spider-Man than Fantastic.
Yeah,
Four.
let Fantastic Four be given to somebody else. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Agreed.
All right, so guys, my word of advice, I think we talked about this earlier, stay off the internet. You don't
Stay
want-
off the internet for anything to do with Doctor Strange. Next week will be our
Related, honestly, because that's where I saw something I shouldn't have seen.
stay off
Did
Twitter,
you
stay
actually
off of,
see it, George? Did you actually see this clip?
or did you just see a shot?
Screenshot.
Okay, that's enough because that's a screenshot that's going around.
Yeah, so it was just like, I'm reading something about Moon Knight and I'm scrolling and then there's that picture and I was like, what the fuck? So yeah.
Lad sent me a great link to a whole freaking Reddit discussion about it. I love, I can't stand Reddit, but it's fun to read those things sometimes.
Why can't you stand Reddit? Too many
Everybody's
words?
so smart, they're very deep into it. They got a subreddit for every fucking thing, and they never shut up.
Oh, that's wow, that sounds
Reddit sounds a little bit like somebody's Facebook feed.
yeah, projecting.
Wow. Really? Wow. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
surprised.
I would say that to our viewer. Please stay off the internet if you don't want to get spoiled. But if you do want to get spoiled, find me on Facebook and we can chat about it because these assholes don't want to talk about it till Saturday.
Hey Artie, did you start your OnlyFans site?
I need to start one. I think that's the only way I can make some money.
Are you going to be doing your garage grind videos on there?
We'll call it Garage Grinder.
It's a garage grinder and a frap. That's what we should call it. You haven't been putting up your frap pictures.
No, that's because you guys don't interact with them a lot. I mean, I thought I was being
every day. Yeah, just like
You do realize that every time you post something, it takes so much power out of me to just sit there. And George knows this because I'm sending him personal stuff, and I'm like, I can deflate you in a second. And I don't want to because
You don't like the fact that I bring joy and inspiration to people's lives, and you
Give a
just
Keith
want
gift
to,
when
you and the Neanderthal back down there, the flamethrower. All you want to do is speak negatively and
Harsh on him.
nice.
it just sucks.
Yeah, you can't get it.
I think we got to figure out something with the backgrounds. Maybe we don't. Maybe
Well, we can mix it up.
we should probably do house tours. That would be interesting.
Don't be hard on
thanks
yourself,
for
Artie.
joining us on tonight's podcast.
Don't be hard on yourself, Artie.
I just got to set up my book.
You know, don't be so hard on yourself. I mean, you know, Facebook is there for you to kind of unleash all your inner turmoil and feelings. You know, I love it when people are like, "Yes, this is so great. Thank you."
It is great. Vlad, you have to realize that it's very stressful out there. All right? It's very hard out there. Maybe you don't understand it being, you know, an elite New Yorker, you know, whoever you are, the rest of us.
Are we enjoying our iPhones?
I don't have an iPhone.
Because I expect more disruptions and inflation for the foreseeable future. Enjoy your iPhones.
Oh, no.
There he goes. All right, on that note.
Oh, no. Glad is not even looking.
No, because there's just there's you don't realize that the stuff you put out there, you can't run for political office. You can never run for
Things that I say.
I think on like a platform of just of disingenuousness.
Disingenuousness.com, professional bullshitters. That's you.
Perfect political.
Don't give up. Keep smiling. Keep up the positivity. Don't stop loving. Don't stop loving. Not for 1 second.
Can I ask you a question? So this is like a really serious question.
Who?
To you.
Are you going to think about those words when you're trying to get your QR code scanned at the movie theater?
The struggle that I have, guys.
Mr. Sorry, sir, but you the date on this is you actually got tickets for Sing 2 at 3:30. Don't stop believing. Right? That's what you're gonna be doing, right?
Wait, I mean, this is the person that got the time wrong for his flight back to Florida, right?
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen. A couple of years back, we were at a con. We all met down in North Carolina, and our esteemed colleague here, we all went to. George dropped us off. George dropped us off at the airport. Keith and I had, I think, a 9 and a 9:30 flight a.m. And Artie was supposed to have a 10.
No, it was later than that.
It was like a 12 or a 1, and then
With
but
the pancakes.
right.
He called us.
He called us. He goes, "It's a 10 p.m. flight." And it wasn't that it was delayed.
All right, I was close. At least it was the same day.
It was in the same airport. It was in the same country. It was, and then we were getting texts from him after we were like, "This airport is horrible. I'm walking around." He's like,
No place to eat.
There was no place to eat because there was what you couldn't get lobster tail. What?
There was like so many places.
I am
get a
not.
steak?
Vlad, you're the elitist New Yorker.
I am not the elitist New Yorker. I'm not putting up pictures of like 7 pounds of takeout and like lobster tails and pasta and stuff like that, like something that just got vomited out. I'm not doing that.
All right.
I'm not. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you everybody. Like and subscribe.
Come on, everybody. Let's do it for the fan.
No, we're not going to do it for the fans. No.
I'm gonna do it.
No, you can do it. You can do it all you want, but it's not going to happen. It's not.
I love whoever you are.
Who do you love? Who do you love?
Whoever's watching this episode right now, thank you very much for sticking with us and listening to.
Can I ask you a question? Why are you going like this?
Because I'm looking directly at that person.
You're looking at directly at that. What is the person 3'2"? Hey Puck. Hey Puck.
That means you can speak to him on eye level.
I want to see you eye to eye. Here we go. Oh wow, I'm looking at your kneecaps. Okay.
Perfect for his OnlyFans page.
Oh. You should start it. Okay, stop touching yourself, please.
It's my R&B face.
That's your R&B. Doing it just for you. Look at him. Look at him.
There you go.
No, that's his lovemaking face.
Oh,
That's what's going to be happening in the sex booth while he sees Doctor Strange. I'm going to be eating this. I'm going to get so excited.
I'm just going to be yelling at my wife.
It was going to be terrible, though. Look, stop making fun. Because he's going to get to like the first 20 minutes. He's gonna have a moment in his pants, and then he's gonna have the aneurysm, and he won't see the rest of the movie. So what do you think of Doctor Strange? I'm in the hospital.
I'm in the hospital.
Live stream this picture in the hospital. I'm in the hospital.
You know what? You know, when we meet you, when we talk to you on Saturday, all we're going to be saying is, okay, so what did you eat? We're not going to ask you about the movie. Like, what did you have? Did you have dessert too? Did you order your shake?
Man, but it's not the best food.
Of course not.
Well, really, that's a surprise.
No, but to me, it's more about the not being next to people.
Yeah, no, you have more room and space.
Don't.
Well, it's like going to drive-through. Not drive-through,
No,
drive-in.
Never go to a drive-through. I don't know.
No, drive-in. You never been to a drive-in?
No, I would.
Can I take your order, please?
Put the tray on your car.
This is gonna be like, can you imagine if they do that during the movie? It's like, well, Doctor Strange, the Illuminati.
Hi there. What would you like to order? Oh my god!
But the most important thing he said.
It's like Doctor Strange, the Illuminati will see you now. Mr. Iliopoulos, here is your Sunday.
He's gonna be like, Artie's gonna be sitting there watching the movie. Oh my god, you didn't see them expecting, and then the guy's gonna walk in front with his plate. He's gonna mock him.
Have you been? When was the last time you went to that movie theater?
Not in a long time, like maybe 2 years.
How do you know the food's still good?
I know the food's not going to be good. It's
like diner food, right?
Like diner food.
Diarrhea.
It's like going to a Fridays or something.
Mm-hmm.
They have higher end stuff. They have a little restaurant before you go in, but we've eaten there before. It's gone downhill in the last several years.
Mm-hmm.
It used to be much better.
Basically, not going to spend time with the common folk when you go see the movie, right?
Here we go.
I don't have to.
You don't have to, like, you know, you're social justice warrior here who's doing everything about the people and about making sure that the corporations give to the people. And what are you going to go do? You're going to go shut yourself up in a pulp mobile to go see this movie?
No, hey, I'm a flawed person. I try my best.
Disingenuous.com.
Try my best.
Oh my god, this movie's amazing. Doctor Strange, the Illuminati will see you now. Oh, my stomach.
Right. Are we done now?
Yes, we are. Everybody like and subscribe. We love you. We'll see you soon. Next week, we promise you we'll let you know what Artie ate. He'll give us a breakdown of everything as well as Doctor Strange.
Do you want me to send pictures?
Sure, while the movie's going on. Just piss off everybody in the movie theater.
He's gonna have his flash on. He's gonna take a selfie with.
This is incredible. He's gonna be Facebooking while it's happening. He's like, the movie's great. The food is great. I'm in heaven. Mr. Iliopoulos, can you please leave?
Facebooking. I'll probably be going, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
What are you, 4?
Yeah. I can't stand this. I can't take it.
Holy smokes.
Holy smokes, that's my favorite. Holy smokes. That's what he says to everybody else except us. Disingenuousness.com, professional bullshitters.
That's
oh my god,
bananas.
Hugh Jackman. Goodness gracious, Hugh Jackman's in Doctor Strange.
Heavens to Megatroid. All right, everybody. We love you. We'll see you next week. Much to talk about. Strange, Moon Knight, finale. So many, and Artie's itinerary for the whole thing. We're going to ask you from the minute you wake up what it was like to get to that movie theater and your experiences. Nothing but love, baby. Take care, everybody.